Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of my InDesign exhibition board tutorial videos. I'm sorry that a part 2 is necessary, but I didn't quite cover everything in the first one and the template has changed a little bit and I just wanted to highlight those changes. The difference is that there's a 40mm border at the top and the bottom, and that's just because the kind of suspension method we're using for these boards has like a kind of a rail at the top which kind of sandwiches the paper together. So there's a bit of a gap at the top of the bottom. It still, looks fine. And some people's boards will be mounted straight onto a wall, so you will have like kind of this really great generous border at the top and the bottom. Anyway, if you've already done your design, just copy and paste your content onto this new template or your links will come over. Just make sure you don't copy and paste this stuff in your header, just fill it in the new template like you did the first time. And you obviously might have to adjust your design slightly to, fit together, but it will just mean kind of making things squish together a bit more. The other thing I didn't mention, or I probably wasn't really clear at all about it, was when I was kind of describing these paragraph styles, you don't need to use this typeface. You can use whatever typeface you want. I was just kind of setting a default. If people didn't have one and didn't have any kind of preference, it was just kind of like a uniform default font, in the exhibition. But if you have a particular typeface which you've been using for your entire project and you want to maintain that, to make sure it's the equivalent size of this. So this one is 18 point. If yours is a particularly large typeface, you might have to make it smaller. Just make sure it's this kind of size because that's the readable size for this particular format of paper. And the other thing is like in my first example of me just dumping pictures and text, it was pretty boring. You don't have to do that. You can do it as elaborate a design as you want to. I've opened up some examples here. It's a great music video. That one. Anyway, so here's an example. Obviously, this is an AO board. That's why everything's so big. No, sorry. This would be like an A1. But nice creative layout, graphics, and quotes, text, whatever you want. Here's some more examples. Oh, just obviously ours is portrait. Another nice little example. There's lots of architecture examples, but they're obviously very sitey, very much about the site, which we don't have to so much worry about. Yeah, go to Pinterest. Pinterest always has a plethora of inspiration. And the other thing I completely neglected to mention at all, and to be honest, I completely forgot about it, but all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's definitely very important with lots of printing. Bleeds. There would have been a bleed on that original one, but I didn't really explain that you need to set up some kind of prop export for it to pop up. Anyway, this red line around the edge is called a bleed, and if you haven't heard of a bleed before, it's like when you get something printed and you want the color to go fully to the edge of the paper, but it doesn't happen because printers don't print to the edge of the paper. Well, the bleed is like the cut line. So if you want an image of some kind, like this one, for example, to go right to the edge of the paper, make sure you extend it right up to the red line. And that way you won't have any weird white borders. Everything will get trimmed off nicely. Just don't put anything too crucial up against the edge. So this is just the example PDF of the template. You can see these little things in the corner. They're called crop marks, and they're a printer mark. So the printer will see those and go, okay, I need to chop them off. So everything down there will get chopped off. And to make sure that they are there and that it actually prints with the bleed, just before you package it, and the packaging, how to package is in the other video, but before you do that, this is so confusing, but before you do that, I just want to just check that the bleeds and stuff are there. You don't actually need to export it, but just go marks and bleeds, and make sure that don't tick that. Usually you would tick that, but if you're packaging something, don't tick that. Just make sure all of these say 3mm, and then click crop marks. And then you can just go cancel. And then package like I explained in the previous video. And when you export the PDF, it will have these lovely little crop lines and the bleed on it, so you won't have any issues. Okay, let me know if none of that makes sense. And let me know if you have any other questions. And have a lovely week. Good luck with the boards.